Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica, another episode of the Unported playlist where we take a look at some of my favorite unported arcade games of all time. And today we're taking a look at Mach Breakers, released by Namco in 1995. It's also known as Numan Athletics 2, N-U-M-A-N, kind of a play on words for human. And there was an original game in the series. But before we get too far involved, if you could do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down there as well. But Mach Breakers is an absolutely hilarious and fun game. It's a great game as a single player game, and when you get your friends around an emulator and original board and you play a 2 or 4 player match, it becomes as much fun as something like Mario Party, because all this really is a mini game collection of Olympic sort of associated sports. And you're going to see it going right into this first match here. It's just me against the dude with the giant hair and mustache, and all we're doing is button mashing to be able to run faster and beat our opponent. And the more you play, this game has a lot of different events and a lot of rounds to go through. You'll see if we finish first, we're going to get more points, and the entire goal of the game is to have more points than all your opponents when you finish. Like I said, it's very similar to Mario Party, in which there's all these different mini games that you're competing against. And playing against the computer is a lot of fun, and you're going to have a ton of fun doing it, but this game really comes alive when you're playing with different people. Put this game on, have some beers, sit around and play a couple rounds of it, and it's just going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun, you're going to be yelling, you're going to be screaming, all the things you kind of want when you're gaming with friends. And when you fail at this game as well, it is also really funny. You'll see before each event you can just get a little tutorial, and then you see what the record is for the event and what you need to do to qualify for the next round, because you do need to beat most of these events to move on. But right here, all we need to do is button mash to get our power gauge up, and we need to hit one button at the right time. And if you don't, basically you fault, and we're going to fall down into this noodle cart. And I love all those transitions, that big colorful fault. It's just really funny when you screw up. It's kind of more fun than when you're actually playing the game, just because you get to see all those unique and individual animations. But you'll see here, we were able to qualify on our second try, and we can move on to the next event. Have you ever played Point Blank for the arcade games as well? That's obviously a light gun game, but it's the same kind of feeling of these mini games. Namco loved making mini game collections, and Mach Breakers is definitely one of the best of all time. And unfortunately, this isn't something we ever got on consoles, because obviously it's on the Unported arcade game playlist, but it is something that I think would have made a really good transition to the home market. And you'll see here, all we need to do is run forward and kick at the right time as those ice blocks come up. I've screwed up a few times now. Timing is essential in this game, and my timing sometimes is great, sometimes is not. But this is the type of game that feels a lot like a rhythm game. All you're doing is button mashing and then transitioning your finger to hit a different button once every maybe half second to quarter second. But as things go further into the game, it gets harder, it gets faster, and you'll see here I take my first loss against my opponent, and I didn't qualify, so off screen I did this one again. But all the events are really funny. You'll think like you've seen maybe in real life some muscle man pulling a truck with a rope, or there's some stunt guy that pulls a 747 with his teeth. Here we're pulling a giant kaiju monster through a city. And this has kind of the same gameplay elements as if you were playing a golf game and you're taking that swing. You have to hit the button at the exact right time, and if you get it in the perfect zone, you're going to get a little bit of a boost. But if you hit it too late, you're not going to get any forward momentum, and things are not going to go well for you. And that's just kind of the fun of this game. You see I screwed up, and Off-Brand Godzilla there just crushed me underfoot. It basically mixes almost every arcade genre up. Now we're going to be playing almost like a Tempest 2000 clone, shooting aliens as they come down a tunnel. Sometimes you're going to be running. Sometimes you're going to be diving. It takes a little bit of every arcade genre around and kind of puts it all together into this futuristic sci-fi Olympic event. And you'll see there, again I did poorly, and that giant mouth, that's all it is, has eaten me. And you'll definitely find events that you like more than others. Just like in Mario Party, you're going to find mini games you like more than others. You're going to be extremely good at some of them, and you're just going to basically fail time and time again to be good at some of the other ones. But as you play this more, you get better at all of them. And with a group of friends around your TV, this is absolutely just one of those games that you're going to probably play for 3 hours and not even notice time has gone by. And here they've just taken a simple Olympic event, vaulting, and they've turned it futuristic. You have to sprint at a car and then try to jump over it. Or if you're like me and totally missed it, you're going to get plowed over, and don't know how he gets back up for his second attempt at it, but it's something that he's going to do. And you'll see here, once you learn the timing, it does get easier. I was maybe like 4 frames off from where I needed to be able to vault over the car. Now I'm going to push the button at the right time, and I'm going to be able to get into the air and perform those tricks. What I'll let you do is watch the next event from start to finish without me talking, because the sound effects are quite great. I'll be back in about a minute, and we'll talk a little bit more about Mach Breakers. But enjoy this lava level. Be right back. So now, like halfway through the game, you just get a little bit of a score recap to see how you're currently doing. And with that lava level, you get to travel further if you push the button at exactly the right time, which is to say, right before you fall into the lava. And that's why this game is so much fun. It really is just a timing exercise. When you play fighting games and you really need to understand when to put the inputs in and how many frames you have to be able to execute them, Mach Breakers is exactly the same thing. As opposed to being a fighting game, it's an Olympic mini game. And you'll see here now we're diving down to the ocean floor, and all we have to do is get to a certain point, and then we're able to turn around. I forgot to hit the turnaround button quickly enough, and I'm not mashing the buttons quick enough, so what's going to happen is, just like a Sonic game, you're going to start getting that anxiety because we are running out of oxygen, and we accidentally drowned, which is one of my greatest fears, but that's a complete different aside. And this is what's so much fun about Mach Breakers. I loved these kind of mini-game compilation games in the 90s, and we still get some of them now and then on consoles, but I don't really feel like they're as good or as charming, because now a lot of the mini-game collections feel like they're kind of budget efforts, where in the 90s these games were given full production budgets and really cared about by companies like Capcom and Namco. But like I said, if you want to have a game night with friends and you want to set this up, getting this to run as 2 or 4 players on an emulator is really easy. And if you buy the arcade board and you want to hook up a super gun that can take 4 arcade sticks, by all means it'll work, but it's going to be the most expensive way to do it. But however you play this game, play it with friends if you can, because it's super fun as a single player experience, but when you're playing this with more people around you, it really opens up and becomes awesome. But short of that, if you ever played, or if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love chatting with you guys. And like I said earlier, if you could do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. We have a world record on this event. Actually, I can see it in my timeline before it shows up, so spoiler alert, and we did a great job. Short of that, we'll be back next Sunday with another episode of Unported Playlists. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.